Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss basic structure of the cell, that is plant cell. The outermost layer of the plant cell is called as cell wall. And a plant cell without cell wall is called as protoplast. Plant cell without cell wall. Plant cell without cell wall is called as protoplast. Here in the protoplast, the plasma membrane and protoplasm are the main parts. Protoplasm is the living fluid of the cell. The protoplasm include nucleus and cytoplasm. The cytoplasm contain cytoplasmic organelles and hyaloplasm. It is also called as cytosol. Cytoplasmic organelles are membrane bounded structures based on the presence or absence of membranous coverings. Cytoplasmic organelles are of two types. Membranous organelles and non-membranous organelles. Membranous organelles are single membrane bounded and double membrane bounded. Now let us take examples of single membrane bounded cell organelles. Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, vacuoles, peroxisomes. Double membrane bounded cell organelles are mitochondria, plastids. Non-membranous cell organelles are ribosomes and centrioles. Now from this basic structure of the cell, we will discuss all the components of the cell. First let us start with the Structure of cell wall. Cell wall is a rigid means semi-elastic, non-living, it is a non-living layer, supportive, protective, freely permeable covering, present outside the plasma membrane, in plant cells, present outside the plasma membrane in plant cells, fungi, some protists, and prokaryotes. Now let us see the cell wall composition in different organisms. Cell wall is made up of in plants, cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose. In fungi, the cell wall is made up of chitin or fungal cellulose. In bacteria, the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. In all bacteria, cell wall is present except mycoplasma. Now let me write here, in mycoplasma, cell wall is absent. Except mycoplasma, in all bacteria, cell wall is present. In diatoms, cell wall is made up of silica, cork tissue, or bark of the plants is made up of lignin or suberin. So this is the cell wall composition in these different type of organisms. Now let us talk about cellulose. Cellulose is the fibrous polysaccharide which provides a structural strength to plants. Cellulose is the most abundant organic molecule. cellulose is the most abundant organic molecule found on earth. And we know that cellulose is not digested in humans due to lack of an enzyme cellulase. When we eat any cellulose containing food materials, they will not get completely digested in humans due to lack of an enzyme, that is cellulase. Now let us talk about structure of cell wall in plants. Structure of cell wall in plants. Look at this diagram. This is the cell wall structure. Here in this we got three cells. This is cell 1, this is cell 2, and this is the cell 3. In these three cells, cell wall structure is clearly shown. Now let us see all the different layers present in the cell wall in plants. Actually, the plant cell wall consists of three layers. Now let me show you here. This is the primary wall of cell 1, cell 2 and cell 3. This is the primary wall, and in between all these cells there is a middle cementing layer is present. This is called as middle lamella, and there is a three-layered wall is present in the cell wall of plant cells. So this is the secondary wall till here. This is the secondary wall. In this secondary wall, this is the innermost layer. This is the innermost layer, and after that, so this is middle layer, and this is called outermost layer. And in this middle lamella, there are some cytoplasmic strands are present like this. These cytoplasmic strands are called as plasmodesmata, which connect the two adjacent plant cells, and it also helps in the transportation of nutrients and stimuli between the adjacent plant cells. Now here let me write the three layers of the cell wall in plants. The first layer is primary wall, middle lamella, and secondary wall. And just now I said secondary wall is the three-layered. It has the inner layer, middle layer, and outermost layer. And what about the spacer present in all these? So this is called a lumen. So this is also lumen. Lumen. Now let us talk about middle lamella. Here is a cementing layer. Middle lamella present between two adjacent cells The middle lamella is made up of pectin. Middle lamella is made up of or formed of pectin, and it is of two types. That is calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. Loss of pectate from middle lamella softens the fruit during fruit ripening. Loss of pectate from middle lamella softens the fruit during fruit ripening. And I have already shown the two adjacent cells are connected by cytoplasmic bridges. Two adjacent cells are connected by cytoplasmic bridges. They are also called as cytoplasmic strands. These cytoplasmic bridges or cytoplasmic strands which connect the two adjacent plant cells or plasmodesmata. Here the plasmodesmata useful in transferring stimuli nutrients between adjacent cells. And here let me write the two adjacent animal cells are connected by two adjacent animal cells are connected by filamentous structures or filaments called desmosomes. Now let us take the functions of cell wall. The cell wall provide particular shape. The cell wall provide particular shape it will provide turgidity and rigidity to the plant cell. Sir, what does it mean? So the cell wall permits the plant cell to become swollen when it is placed in the water. So that condition is called as turgidity. As water enters the vacuole by osmosis, the plant cell expands, and the cell wall has to be strong enough to resist this expansion so that it enables the cell to become turgid. The cell wall permeable to water and substances in solution and just now we discussed the plasmodesmata present in the cell wall connect the two adjacent plant cells, and it also helps in the transport of nutrients and stimuli between the two adjacent cells. So this is about the basic structure of the cell, structure of cell wall and its composition. This is the structure of cell wall in plants and its functions.